Hello, folks. So I just got uh, finished with my Facebook jail, my 30-day ban the other day, and I was back for like 3 days, I guess, 2 or 3 days, and then they banned me again for 30 days. And so this time I was actually trying to be good. I mean, I guess I always kind of try to not get banned, but this time, like, I wasn't cussing at people. I wasn't even terrible people that I encountered. Um, but in my last video about this, about Facebook censorship that I put out, I think last month when I got banned, um, I mentioned that I got banned for calling somebody, uh, I forget what it was, but I remember I was saying how you can't call people stupid, you can't call people illiterate, but you can call people ignorant. So that's like been my go-to for the last 10 years whenever I'm at being smart, at least. If somebody's telling me off, I'll just call them ignorant. So it kind of sums up what I'm trying to say, but it was not on the list of verboten words that got people banned because I said it. I called people ignorant every single day, basically for the last 20 years or 10 years that I've been on Facebook, because I had to use that. I couldn't use other words because I knew that that was the only one that was accepted. So anyway, I made that video and I said that that was um I mean, I maybe wrongly said it was a weird discrepancy because I was saying they basically are synonyms, which, I mean, technically they're not really synonyms. I guess ignorant and stupid are kind of different. Like, ignorant can just mean somebody who, either just doesn't know something, or it can also mean like an ignoramus, like somebody who is willfully ignorant. But both of those are different from stupid. But anyway, like, basically, as soon as I made that video, they added that word to the list. So as soon as I got back on Facebook, as usual, people troll me for my work, and I called somebody ignorant, and I got a 30-day ban for it. So you cannot convince me that they're not stalking my I mean, I don't know. It would have to be one hell of a coincidence because I can guarantee you that that was not the rule last month, because I used the word ignorant like a million times against people last month, including like probably a lot of people that tried to report me, and it never was a problem until I used, well, there was something else I said that was technically against what their rules were, and that's what got me banned. So yeah, within a month and maybe quicker, of me making that video, which apparently was a mistake to make that video because I just, like, even a part of me was thinking, like, I know that the feds who run Facebook and Google and YouTube and shit stalk me because they stalk people like me. But so it would be pretty, I'm like, it would be pretty fucked up if after I say this they just change the rule and add that in. But I kind of thought that would not happen. I don't know. Call me crazy. I kind of thought, like, even if they are stalking my shit, um, they wouldn't be that weird and blatant about it to just change the rule right after I said that. So anyway, point is, um, I mean, they've probably been monitoring me for a long time, like I was part of Occupy Wall Street. I was an activist before that. I was with Earth First. I was like an anti-war activist, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been like calling for a revolution online for over a decade at least. Well, probably basically from day one, but more vociferously for the last like 10 or 11 years. And basically starting in like 2011, like the beginning of 2011. when the Egyptian revolution was kicking off, and I was like, or maybe even before that, but definitely at that time I started calling for global revolution. So yeah, these feds, they're I'm sure I have my own agent or something, or Beelzebub has a fed set aside for me, and maybe that's who was somebody on the Atlantic Council, maybe that's on, helps run Facebook, and they looking at my video. So anyway, what I would say is like, yeah, so sorry, I'm gonna be gone another month. Don't know if they'll ever really let me be on Facebook. But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, this is kind of a given. Like anybody who's a radical, they're getting stalked by the feds. That's the point of data mining, is to like stalk radicals and try to, psychoanalyze them and use them to and use the information to subvert radicalism. Um, or that's one point of data mining other than just advertising. But and like molding public opinion. But that's all, connected to this. So anyway, like my my friends, I would say just know, like, on some level you're brave to be my friend because they're probably stalking you just for being my friend. So yeah, I'm sorry. This is a fucked up world, fucked up system, government. So I would just say be careful, everybody. Be careful what if you post anything that the feds are going to use against you, because they will. That's what they do. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a little bit flattering if they did this just for me, but it's kind of also humiliating because that means I helped make the rules worse. I helped close a loophole that was a good loophole. Um, so, I mean, obviously their end game is to ban everybody like me from all platforms. That's what the White House, Jen Psaki, said, and she speaks for the CIA, the deep state, NSA, CIA, yada yada. It's all the same. I mean, they all fight each other on some level, but on some level, that's all the same thing. Um, like whatever is their common ground with each other is the global government, and despite their little infightings. Um, so anyway, yeah, I guess the other thing I guess I'll talk about here is just the Capitol Police. There was a Capitol Police officer who killed himself, and supposedly, I don't know, this is the I mean, I don't know if it was two of them killed themselves or just the one, because I know there's two of them that died, and somebody was making it sound like they both killed themselves, but I think it's might just be one. Um, I don't know. I'm googling it, but my laptop is very slow, so I guess fourth officer who responded. Oh, oh man. Four officers who responded to the I mean, I maybe I shouldn't laugh. I just don't like cops, but I shouldn't laugh because these cops were probably actually trying to do something good. Like, I mean, I think it's pretty probable, at least fairly yeah, very probable that they were all trying to come forward against the FBI, whose assets came and were beating the shit out of them and whatever there. I mean, cops and FBI hate each other. The cops hate FBI for good reason. FBI hates cops partly maybe for good reason, but mostly just contempt because they know that they can walk all over the cops and they can send their own agents and assets to beat the shit out of cops with impunity. So I think these four cops were like actually had maybe some integrity or at least some pride or self, I don't know, something, loyalty to their own institution. So they are trying, we're trying to come forward about the FB because like half the people that were in, or at least seems like a lot of the people that were in involved in the quote unquote like riots and the Capitol riots were FBI agents. Like a lot of the people with the biggest charges had their charges dropped. Like a lot of the leaders of the quote unquote riot had their charges dropped, and it seems to be that that's because they were assets, and so the FBI is not going to prosecute their own people, um, even though their people basically organized it. Like to a large extent, those people who seem to be the assets were the main people. Like the one of them was the one that set a bomb or something. It's just amazing. Like this is like such. I mean, it smelled like a psyop from day one, even though it looked cool. Like it looked cool. Like yeah, anybody with a soul should want to see the people like you know pissed off at election malfeasance and marching on Congress. But some of the theatrics of it, I think maybe gave it away that it was an FBI psyop. Like, just the theatrics of it and just the fact like Republicans are not, they're unfortunately, they don't fight cops very much unless somehow they were manipulated to do so. So, like, I'm glad that people, if the FBI is turning Republicans against cops, that's good. So, I mean, maybe maybe their plans are backfiring on them because, like all their targeting of Republicans have turned the Republicans, who are the biggest, cop suckers on earth, uh, into like at least being like a little bit, I don't know if these cops are our friends. And same with like CIA, FBI. Like now that, well, now apparently the Democrats love the CIA and the Republicans hate the CIA. But I mean, the Democrats, the registered Democrats are probably mostly boomers anyway, so most boomers might love the CIA regardless. But still, like, all this attempt to destroy populist, like the populist right or something, just seems to be expanding it. I mean, yeah, so who knows what is their end game? I mean, obviously, one of the main end games would be just ramping up all this legislation to empower the government and disempower people and, flush the last shreds of the Constitution down the toilet. So, that's, and the fact that people don't think that, like, that doesn't occur to them that, like, the government tries to hype up some drama so they can get more power, just like they've done for thousands, at least hundreds and probably thousands of years. The fact that people don't like, that doesn't occur to them that that might be what is happening in these things is pathetic. Like people, if that doesn't occur to you, you kind of like should not be involved in politics because you're too naive. Like, and a lot of people are too naive. Like they just their assumptions about politics are just totally nonsense. Like, oh yeah, the government's just there to like help us, and you know, corruption and conspiracies in government have never happened. It's never happened. Only conspiracy theorists would say that, like that's how the Democrats are now. So I'm glad if the feds are turning the Republicans against the state, but that will only be a good thing if we can utilize that by actually, forming some kind of like solidarity at least with anti-government people. Um, because like I'm not conservative and I'm against capitalism and everything. But if somebody's like against the CIA and against wars and stuff, and will I not cooperate with them on that? If I didn't cooperate with them on that, if I was such a purist, Like a lot of these supposed, like I don't, a lot of leftists are not leftists. A lot of leftists are just people who pretend to care about like poor and disenfranchised and oppressed people just as like an image, you know? So they, I mean, honestly, probably a lot of them are scumbags, so they just use that to try to make it seem like they're not scumbags or something. Like a lot of people are scumbags generally, but yeah, I think people who are so against all conservatives, all Trumpers, in all Republicans in any circumstance, and just have to demonize them and have to pretend that every Democrat is better in every way than every Republican. Uh, like there's a lot of people like that, and they're scary people. Like I don't like the Republicans, but I like Republicans more than I like those people. Say that. Um, I mean, maybe I like some Republicans. I don't know. Is there any registered Republicans like under 60 years old anyway? I don't know. Probably not around here much. But so anyway, yeah, these four officers, fourth officer who responded, and the fact that they're doing this tells you that they have absolutely no shame. I mean, these are the people who um, used 9/11 to, you know, burn the Constitution and launch the Iraq War. And, you know, a lot of people, there's a lot of evidence that points to either that they had, that the elite, that feds had some hand in causing 9/11, or at the very least, basically knew it was going to happen and did nothing, and then used it to destroy the Constitution. So these people have no qualms. Like they would like, I think. Well, obviously, okay. If I know that the media like didn't believe McAfee when he said this. And even Crystal Ball did some psychoanalysis where she said that when he said he wasn't going to kill himself, that's that means that he probably did. But so fuck you, Crystal Ball. But yeah, but I am not going to kill myself. So if I like guaranteed, my life sucks and it has sucked for a very long time. If I was at all prone to suicide, I'm sure I would have done it a long fucking time ago. Um, but I don't. It's not like, no matter how much my life sucks, no part of my brain thinks like, oh, I should be dead then. Being dead will be fun. No, because I've never been dead, and I have no reason to think being dead would be better no matter how much I'm suffering, honestly. Like I don't even believe in euthanasia because my whole life is suffering. Life, I don't know, there's suffering in life. It doesn't mean you should die. It doesn't mean being dead is funner. It's just a it's just a complete assumption that I guess people have made sometimes, or maybe been coerced to make, and there's no basis for it. So I will never kill myself. Uh, you know. So yeah, if I get suicided by these feds for whatever it's worth, you'll know that that's what happened. That they fucking killed me and tried to make it look like a suicide. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know if they see me as much of a threat as they saw these four police officers, but who knows? Maybe after this video they will, because I don't know who else is calling out the what seems to be an obvious you know, purge cover up by the FBI and whoever else is involved in this. Um, because you know this psyop is the psyop right now. Like the January 6th, along with Trump, it's kind of the same TDS, etc. Trump is their agent also. He's like the his job was to shepherd, you know, Pied Piper shepherd people into this January 6th thing. It didn't work. Very not very many people showed up. I mean, or at least not very many people stormed Capitol, but now they're just like rounding up everybody who was there. And the left is like, if you're if every leftist who's like okay with that, people just being rounded up for being at a rally that somebody did something at, those are not leftists. I mean, we call them whatever, but they're evil, they're trash, they're like should be, deported into deep space. um it just, it's weird how it so often comes down to, you know liberty versus tyranny, because even as important as economic issues are and all these other issues, there's just so many people that have it just ingrained in their soul that they feel entitled to govern, to just legislate other people's lives, other people's personal choices. And there's like, just look at how many people support drug laws and how many people actually are against all drug laws. It's just like the libertarians and a few others that are against all drug laws. So like, clearly, yes, economics are a huge issue, but to say that freedom is not an issue or that freedom is a bourgeois value or something, no. Like, the being bourgeois is its own freedom, but political freedom is for those of us who have no power and at least want freedom, at least that, because we don't have a say in government. Rich people don't need government freedom, they can buy government freedom. We can't. So we need like legal freedom, we need constitutional freedom. And so, if that has to be the issue temporarily instead of economics, and if we have to ally with people who have stupid ideas on economics just so that we can stop like mass murdering pedophiles, I'm fine with that. And if you're not fine with that, then maybe you are a mass murdering pedophile by proxy. um so anyway, I mean, I hate cops in general, except for like certain based like constitutional constables and sheriffs and stuff. But like most, like every major city police force are scum, because they're not going to be constitutional at all. They're not. There's no constitutional city in America. So they're all terrorists, they're all scum. But these four men, I still have to give them credit, because every moment is a chance to be a better person. And I think they did that. They tried to be a better person, and they made the mistake of trying to go through the official channels, and that got them killed. What they should have done is gone on record immediately and then found a safe house or something. Um, so anyway, so I would say RAP to those men for that reason, that they seem to have stood up against these fascist, you know, um, mass murderers in power, despite themselves being also part of a fascist organization. But nevertheless, they saw something that was wrong, and they did the right thing, and they died for it. They paid the ultimate price. Love hath no man hath greater love than to lay down his life for his fellows, or something. Like, so I don't know. That's my opinion. I think that's what happened. And so, based on that, I will honor these four men, or these four officers. And yeah, condolences to their families. All right, guys. So yeah, as I said, feds are all over me, so be careful. But I don't know. What can you do? Hopefully we can overthrow these reptilian tyrants at some point, but I just don't know how. But it would take at the very least a lot more people opting out and really saying no. that's, you know, just say no. Just say no. Just say, I will not, you know, I will not support this. I will not do anything that in any way supports this government or these laws or whatever it is. Um, that's what we need. We need, I mean, I don't know if like, I don't know if I want to see like a, people, you know, standing up to the tyrants in the streets with, you know, arms or whatever, just because whenever there's like a, you know, a traditional armed revolution, like the bravest revolutionaries die probably first, and then probably some asshole like takes over and becomes a new tyrant or something. So I'm not saying that, you know, that should always be on the table. That should never be off the table. Revolution is central to leftism and, you know, justice and everything, and certainly the right of revolution. I would say we would have the duty if it were feasible, but as it is, um, I mean, we need a revolution of some kind. But whether it's a violent revolution, whether it's hopefully, you know, hopefully we can educate enough people, you know, maybe even the Democrats at some point, you know, they claim they care about the Capitol Police. Maybe once they realize that that Biden's buddies in the deep state are murdering their favorite pigs, maybe that will convince them. I don't know. Whatever. Um, just I wouldn't give up hope though, because I mean, it seems like the feds are always like so scared. They're scared of me. That should give you hope. If these if these people who have like trillions of dollars at their fingertips and, you know, nuclear bombs and drones and whatever, but they're scared of me, and I'm like an unemployed poor guy that rents a room in some random place. Um, so and you know, I just barely have a little bit of reach through the internet because they have me blocked on everything basically. But but I think that's a sign for hope, that scared of they're scared of me, you know, like it's a sign of weakness. So I guess I have to find a way to exploit that weakness. But but they anyway, so just take care. I don't know, be careful, because no matter no matter how much you think the government loves you and or has morals or has limits or anything, there's no reason to think they wouldn't do to you what they did to those four police officers, or what they did to their own agent Epstein. If they even killed him, we don't really know. Hard to be totally sure about that, I guess, if they didn't spirit out the body. Um, but you know, McAfee, this guy was like, you know, a billionaire probably, and they did it to him. So yeah, don't don't beware, I would say, or at least don't falsely assume the government won't kill us all just for power, or just for whatever reason they do these evil things. Um, all right, so yeah, take care, solidarity, and long live. I don't know. Here's to some sort of revolution, some change from these, you know, evil fascists.